Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Monday, April 11th, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So, in today's video, we're going to be going over a recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, then talking about my core plays for the FanDuel main slate for today, as well as my top GPP stacks for today as well. But without further ado, we'll get into it with a recap of yesterday's picks. Forewarning, yesterday was not the prettiest, and you're going to have this a lot in MLB DFS. You're going to have really, really good days, and you're going to have some poor days in there too. So the important thing is, especially when you're playing DFS on a daily basis, is make sure you're pretty much always playing like the same amount of money. You don't want to just be like, oh, I'm on a hot streak, and then like double the money that you're putting in, because eventually it will catch up to you. So just make sure if you're betting $20 a day, keep betting $20 a day. If you're betting $4 a day, keep betting $4 a day. So just keep that in mind. But for the recap, Chris Bubic is the pitcher here, $7,000. It looked pretty good on paper. Cleveland's offense had not been doing anything at all, and then all of a sudden they erupted yesterday. So unfortunately, that was not a good case for Bubic. He ended up with negative 13 points, which is kind of unfortunate. A lot of the pitching was not the best yesterday, though. So 2 days ago, very good pitching day. Yesterday, not so much. And you're going to have that. That's the difference between days, especially in MLB DFS. We had Robinson Cano at $2,200. Only looking for a little bit of production out of him. Unfortunately, he went 0 for 4 yesterday, so he had 0 points overall, so he was a miss. Bryson Stott, same situation, 0 for 4. Dalton Jeffries actually came out and pitched pretty good, so that was kind of a surprise to everyone there. Not really anybody touched him. A lot of people were on the Phillies stack as well. Bryson Stott was a good value play. You know, he played slate out probably 10 times, 7 or 8 times. He probably pays off, so just unfortunate that was not the case yesterday. Tim Anderson, $3,900, got to 21.4 points. He was a hit yesterday. Actually only ended up being the 6th overall shortstop. So it was a pretty good offensive day yesterday, but Tim Anderson definitely was a good play overall. Bryce Harper, big name, big pay-up price. Phillies stack looked pretty good. Not so much, 0. So he did nothing yesterday, unfortunately, so he was a miss as well. So we had 4 misses yesterday. Unfortunate day, but we're right back at it once again today. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the core plays for today. So we have our pitcher today, Ranger Suarez for the Philadelphia Phillies. $9,600. His fantasy points per game last year, when you're looking at it and you're only seeing 17, well, you got to take into account that he was a reliever a good majority of the year. So he does not have much starting history against this New York Mets team. Was decent as a reliever versus them. Has some pretty high upside if he can do what he did at the end of last season. Not a lot of great pitching options today, so taking a chance on a guy like Ranger Suarez. And then we move down to Ji-Man Choi. He's obviously the left-handed part of the platoon in Tampa Bay at first base, $2,400. Pretty decent start to the season so far. Being that left-handed part of the platoon, obviously, he's a guy that excels more versus right-handed pitching. He had 11 home runs against the right-handed pitching, which was all his home runs last season in 83 games. He's never faced Paul Blackburn, the starter for the A's today, in the past, so it's a brand new matchup for both guys. Could end up favoring the batter, could end up favoring the pitcher. We'll just have to see. But Ji-Man Choi at $2,400, looking like a pretty good value play on today's slate. Then we move down to shortstop with Bo Bichette at $4,300. Obviously playing against the New York Yankees. Jameson Taillon pitching for them today. He's kind of a hit or miss pitcher in recent years just because he's not got that elite stuff on a daily basis like he used to, or at least pre-Tommy John surgery. So Bo Bichette, very talented young player, $4,300. Definitely a pay-up option there. And he's actually 3 for 7 against Jameson Taillon in his young career. So Bo Bichette looking pretty good today. We have his teammate George Springer here at $3,700. Very hot start to the season. Kind of playing off that a little bit. He is 0 for 6 versus Jameson Taillon last year. So maybe a little bit of concern there, but hopefully he breaks that streak at this point. You could look at some other options there. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., somebody to look at too if you're looking at some of these Toronto Blue Jays. He is 3 for 7 versus Jameson Taillon and did hit a home run versus him last year as well. But George Springer, once again, very hot start to the year. Hopefully it continues against Jameson Taillon today. I'll actually say, too, Jameson Taillon was actually tougher on left-handed pitchers last year, so putting these righties against him might not be as big a deal as you think on that righty-on-righty matchup. And then last but not least, we have Jock Peterson, outfielder for the San Francisco Giants, $2,300, a really cheap price tag when I saw his name pop up there. I was just like, is that really up there at $2,300? He is a guy that has hit all but 2 of his home runs against right-handed pitching the last 3 seasons. Guy that excels very, very much so against right-handed pitching and hits for power against them. So I'm going against Nick Martinez today, who has not pitched in the majors in 4 years. And before that, he had an ERA of 4.77. Could be a pretty good matchup for Jock Peterson today. Definitely somebody to look out for and a good cheap little option on the slate tonight. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 core picks that I do have listed here, you'll have $12,700 remaining, just under $3,200 per player. So you can definitely mix and match a little bit there. Probably going to have some value plays on there, but we do have some high pay up guys here in Bo Bichette, George Springer, and then we have some cheaper guys already with Ji-Man Choi and Jock Peterson. If you want to build in a little bit more of that Toronto stack, you're definitely more than willing to do so. If you want to build in a little bit of a Tampa Bay stack, that's something that could be interesting as well today. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my top GPP stacks for the day. So once again, this is part of my article over at WeBetATS.com, and I'm just going over the top GPP stacks once again. The ones that I do have are the Rays against the Oakland A's today, particularly the left-handed batters against Paul Blackburn today. So you're looking at some Ji-Man Choi, some Josh Lowe, some Brandon Lowe. Those are the guys that really stand out. If you want to play Randy Arozarena as well, you can play him. Then I have the Atlanta Braves, who initially we didn't know who was going to start for Washington today. It looks like it's Josh Rogers, a lefty. So looking at some of those right-handed Braves batters today, maybe an Ozzie Albies, maybe an Adam Duvall, Marcelo Ozuna, guys like that. Then last but not least, we had the Blue Jays. Kind of talked about them already. Like Bo Bichette, I like George Springer. If you want to look at Teoscar Hernandez, you can do that as well. And then obviously Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But with that being said, those are my 3 top stacks for the day, as well as my core 5 for today. As always, if you have any questions about MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on today's slate, whether it's one of the core 5 I have listed, whether it's part of my top GPP stacks, or somebody completely different. Definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's MLB, whether it's NBA, whether it's NFL. Heck, once USFL comes around, probably be doing some USFL DFS as well. And then talking some fantasy football, especially when it comes to dynasty, rookie draft prospects, and the NFL draft. So going to be a lot of that in the coming weeks. Definitely be sure to check that out as well if that's something you're into. And then with that being said, if you are new or current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.